Welcome to Doing It My Way by Beata Matras, a podcast about project and product management, communication, brand, and IT. All these topics will definitely improve and have a positive impact on your career. So join me today, subscribe, and expect a new episode every week. Thank you. Today, I'm excited to have Asher Kennedy with us. Asher is the founder of Level 1 Coaching, where he helps professionals regain confidence, focus, and live healthier lives. With a background in corporate recruitment and a deep passion for fitness, Asher has valuable insight into balancing professional life with physical well-being. We'll be diving into topics like getting back in shape during life crisis, the impact of sports on mental health, and how to build a healthy lifestyle. Welcome to the show, Asher. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Oh, thank you very much for the kind introduction, and it's an honor to be here. So hopefully I can provide some valuable insights and it will be a lovely conversation.
Yeah, I'm sure. You know, we want to help people to take care of not only their professional space, but also about their personal well-being, which like intertwines. So my first question to you is actually about your career transition, because your career path is like quite unique. You moved from a talent specialist and recruitment professional to becoming a fitness coach. What inspired you to that shift, and what was the turning point that made you decide to transition to the fitness industry?
Yes, so I spent many years in recruitment, in talent, as a talent specialist was my job title at the time. And my whole goal of life in general has always been about impact. How can I provide the most amount of impact to people as possible? At the time, recruitment was something that I was good at, and helping people find a job was enjoyable for me. However, I was working for another company, and whilst I enjoyed aspects of the job, there was something that was missing inside of me. That purpose, that fulfillment was just never really there for me. So I was always very open to experiencing and maybe pursuing something else. At the time, I just didn't know what that was. And coaching fed into my lap quite naturally, as I'd had a background in fitness before, and I already had a pretty good network in the UAE, especially. So when it came to launching the business, it was something that came quite naturally to me, and I've been working out myself for 12 years whilst balancing my corporate life. So I managed to pick up a lot of hacks throughout my time working out, and how to balance the two, and how to really just have a balanced life, which is what I'm all about, and integrating health and fitness into my corporate life, which is something that's a lot easier said than done, which is hence why I'm a coach and I help people do it.
So, like a personal question, was it like scary to move from like this kind of stable, you know, corporate, like well-known role to your passion?
Yeah, I was petrified. It's terrifying. So yeah, yes, it was scary. The scariest moment of my life at that time, anyway. It was something I really wanted to do, and once I had the vision of exactly what I wanted to do and how I wanted to impact people through my business, the vision was so strong for me that it overrid any form of fear, hesitation, holding myself back, self doubt. So for me, it just got to a point where my vision was just so powerful. I was almost more there than I was in my current job anyway, mentally. So became easier, but it was still terrifying. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Some people say that, you know, we should like rephrase this being stressed and like terrified into like being excited, but sometimes it's difficult. I mean, sometimes I think the best is like to embrace the fear and actually like, okay, I'm scared, but I'm still doing it, and you're the great example of it. So, if we're talking about, you know, sports and fitness, because it had a huge impact on your career, so can you elaborate on that? How has sport and fitness impacted your own career and personal life?
Yeah, so I think most people, including myself, are very driven. Work's very important to me, and quite easily, if I don't have something on the side, then I can get into, dare I say, quite a self-sacrificial lifestyle of just dedicating my body, my mentality, my energy, all just to work, and there's nothing else outside of that. which can be productive for a short period of time. And some may maintain that lifestyle for a number of years, but you get to that point of burnout, stress, where you just haven't been looking after yourself. And I explain it like this: imagine yourself as a bucket of water. And for years, you've been pouring water into your relationships, into your work, your career, your business, and you're pouring all of that water out. But most people get to a point where it's like, who's been filling my buckets up? Who's been filling me up with water? And that's your wellness and your health and your fitness. So for me personally, I knew that it was something I wanted to have a good balance of, because I had some foresight from some mentors and some other people in my life where I saw that they were getting stressed out. So it's something that was always very important to me. So I wanted to balance the two. And for me, it's been a massive. I honestly struggle to understand how people live without having some form of physical outlet. Because I know it's been one of the main reasons for my current sanity, compared to a lot of people who are losing their minds because they just don't have anything outside of work.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And I can kind of relate to that because when, during this tech redundancies and so on, and, at some point I stopped working. And if I wouldn't have like this kind of hobbies, like, yoga, like sport, like going for walks, sometimes running, which is like a love-hate relationship, but still in my life. And also like this podcast, it would be like super difficult for me to like survive this period of time when you kind of don't know what to do with all this energy that you put into like one place in your corporate role. So yeah, that's very interesting. And as we can see on your example, fitness can have transformative impact on various aspects of life, including changing your kind of career path. But let's discuss the kind of mental side of things. So you help professionals regain their health even during tough times. How do you recommend someone starts their fitness journey when they are facing a life crisis?
Yeah, so it all starts with the mind, as cliche as that may sound sometimes, but it's true. You first have the thought and then you have to put it into action. So if you're going through some form of life crisis, and I'll answer in a pretty general sense without knowing what the specific life crisis is, then I would reframe it to, I'm not trying to, it's not that I'm going through something and I want to add something to my life. It's, I'm going through something and I need an outlet. So there's many different outlets you can take. You can take, if you don't mind me saying on the podcast, you can take drugs, you can overeat, which debatably are near enough the same at a certain level. You can go to alcohol. So you have options, and I think it's been pretty well recorded over history that obviously those three that I mentioned, they were very damaging. So one thing that is a really healthy outlet and is actually has some amazing long term benefits is health and fitness, and taking your health seriously. And I define as taking your health and fitness serious, essentially taking life seriously. So that's something that can, when something that's so important and it's one of the main pillars when it comes to your life, once you have that down, that really helps you in many other areas of your life, like your mental well-being, because you know that you're fit, strong, and healthy. And then for anyone who would disagree with that, then do the opposite thing and drink loads of alcohol, eat foods that are unhealthy for you, and let me know how that feels. And if that's true, then the complete opposite is also true. When you do look after yourself, you cut out or at least cut down the alcohol, then you'll feel so much better. So from a biological standpoint, it makes you feel better, but also just in general, you'll just feel so much better. So it's really important. And if you're going for a life crisis, then I'd say it's even more important to just focus on your health, your fitness, and just focus on that, and it can just be a huge relief.
Yeah, so what you just said is like you're almost like channeling this kind of energy you have in yourself. And you usually, for example, your outlet was work and now you don't have it, or your outlet was, yeah, like something different. I don't have a good example right now. And usually you were spending this kind of energy on something, let's say, I don't want to say productive, but something that made sense to you. Yeah. And
Yes.
once you don't have it, you need a new outlet, which is like kind of more healthy than
Yeah,
alcohol, drugs, and compulsive eating.
exactly. Any one of the laws of the universe, again, undeniably, is energy doesn't go anywhere. You can only transfuse it into something else. So rather than putting that energy into something negative, you can get that energy that you have, that life crisis that you're going through, and all of the upset that it's maybe causing, and put that into something that's good for you, like your health and fitness. So that's really what it's all about. And this is why I call my company Level One, because I truly believe health and fitness is the foundation to well-being. We're many things, but we're still physical beings, and we're people. So we need to make sure that we're looking after our physical self. And out of all of the five pillars that you have in life to focus on, so health and fitness being one, your romantic relationships being another, family and friends being another, your finances being one, and then your spirituality, whatever that means to you. Health and fitness is the one thing that if you focus on it 100%, you will yield results. It's the most straightforward and it's got the least variables to it. Finances, there's a lot of things that are out of our control that we can't necessarily do things about. Romantic relationships, probably the one we have the least control over, and it can be quite difficult to get right. However, health and fitness, if you focus on it and you follow the formula and the template that we teach our clients, then you will 100% get results. It's just without a doubt. So it's the one that you should focus on first, because if once you get that, then it's a lot easier to achieve the others because you already have success in one area.
Yeah, yeah, that's very interesting what you mentioned about like five areas of life that are crucial. Totally agree with that. I also have a kind of similar mindset in case of what we should put our energy in. And health, yeah, it's like a foundation, as you mentioned. So, what are like some of the small but impactful steps that anyone can take when they feel overwhelmed and out of shape? Like small steps that to start with.
Yeah, so there's a few different sayings that I like. One being the path enlightens as you walk it. So a lot of people try and get everything right and everything perfect, have this amazing plan in front of them before they even take a first step. And that's just another form of procrastination. So rather than procrastinating on your goals and pushing it back like many people do, focus on the opposite of procrastination, which in my view is pursuit and persistence. If you're pursuing something and you're persistent, those are two action words that you can move forward with right away. Whereas most people just see not procrastinating as the opposite, which is that you can't really do anything with. So I like to use action words. So if you want to actually make a change and you're overwhelmed with keto diets, should I do carnivore diet? Should I go vegan? Should I do intermittent fasting? Which can all work, sure, just focus on taking the first step forward. Fitness is really simple. Everyone seems to overcomplicate it, mostly because fitness coaches or your influencers online really like to overcomplicate things because it is better for sales. However, it is very simple. All you have to do is essentially walk more and move more. Most people, if you're working in an office and even worse, working from home, you're probably not moving as much as much as you should from a statistical standpoint. Most people are massively under moving. So move around more, eat whole foods in general. Now, is it realistic for everyone to eat whole foods? Most of the people I work with probably not. However, try and move at least 80% of your diet to nutritious meals that are actually good for you and your health, which will again prevent for some dangerous diseases down the road. And then last but not least, just work out 3 times a week. You don't need to do any more. I'm in the fitness industry. I've ever rarely go over 5 days a week because it's just not necessary. For most people, you just don't need to train no more. So 3 to 5 days a week is fine for most, and that's a good place to start. Anything else is just overcomplicating it, and you're procrastinating.
Oh, okay. So, like to summarize, it's like walking more and like generally moving more. So, for example, like I mean, every day is very often like easier for people to like be mindful that, for example, okay, so every day I will do, I don't know, 20 minutes of a walk in the morning. And that's, that's kind of the end goal for the day. But what you mentioned also was like eating whole food, like 80% of your food needs to be like healthy. But it's sometimes like difficult to, with all this overwhelm of information on what is healthy and what is not healthy. And there is like this recreation food and there is like unhealthy food. There are like different names. And you kind of get lost of what actually is healthy.
Yeah, yeah, I'm completely with you. And this is the job of the food industry. It's to complicate things. It's to make things look extremely difficult to use. Buzzwords like protein, everything. If you go to any supermarket these days, you'll see protein this, high protein. Just read the label. General, again, I like to use general rules, especially if I'm talking on a podcast. If you look at a food label and you can't recognize most of the foods, it's just probably you should probably avoid it. Only eat things that where you actually recognize what you're eating. Otherwise, it's just most likely a bunch of chemicals and things you don't understand, which your body shouldn't, quite frankly, be in your body. Do your very best to stick to single ingredient foods, to stick to whole foods, and it's a lot harder to go wrong. And I'm trying to keep the information pretty basic at this level because, again, people would do their best to overcomplicate it. So before taking the first step, the most important thing is taking that first step, and then the rest of it will enlighten as you discover and you move forward. And obviously, there's ways to expedite that process by investing in yourself, getting a coach, for example, who may be able to help you with some of those decisions and make the path really clear for you. And that's really what the job of a coach is specifically.
Yeah, yeah, that's very interesting, and it's it's encouraging to also see like how simple is that. Sometimes we just, like as you mentioned, need a person who will like be with us on this initial journey and like a little bit like supports us, but also in the same time like pushes us to start, yeah, to start and to continue when there are like tough moments. And about mental health, many people is struggling with mental health, especially during like high stress periods. We all have it, at the corporate work or in any like companies we are working for. If we have our business, there is always like these high stress periods. So how does the regular exercise contribute to mental resilience?
So it depends on how you mean mental resilience. Are we talking mental resilience within the workplace specifically, or are we talking about just overall how it benefits your mind throughout life for life purposes?
What is the difference actually? I mean, is there any difference between those two in like when mental well-being at work or mental well-being and resilience in, life?
Overall, no, but I would say it would just depend on my answer and how I'd answer it. So I'll keep it to life because that would cover both. So and I can speak about what's helped me and my clients because that's again what I can give most insight on. When you're working out, one thing you have to learn very quickly is that things don't come overnight. As quick as a transformation as any coach can provide you or anyone can go through themselves, it doesn't happen tomorrow. It takes some time, and you're likely going to have to go through a period of working out, trying to eat right, and maybe not seeing the results right away. And that in and of itself will enable you to have delayed gratification, which is a skill that is amazing in life and will help you with resilience because you're not just looking for the result and you're focusing on the process. And one thing that I really focus on with a lot of my clients is getting obsessed with the process as opposed to the result. Most people are working out to achieve an outcome. 2 months later, they don't have a six pack and they haven't transformed and lost 20 kg, and it's like, oh, you know what, there's no point, I give up. That's I understand it. However, if you want progress, this is not something that's an 8 week transformation and then your life's going to be changed forever. You're going to have to integrate health and fitness into your life for the long term. So when you get into a really good routine, you're working out, you're fit, you feel better, you wake up with higher energy. You can that this will impact your whole entire life. Your confidence skyrockets. The way you're perceived by other people, and again, I don't make the rules, but the way you're perceived, you get viewed on by your looks. It just is. It is what it is. So when you're working out and you look better, you feel better. That will make you be taken more seriously in the workplace, and that can make you more susceptible to promotions, for example. So, and as a manager, people take you more seriously because you're taking yourself more seriously, most importantly. And that it changes your life in so many ways. I can only start to talk about things. When you have kids and you're ordering food or eating unhealthy foods, your children are eating the same foods. And if you're someone who is overweight, for example, you know how difficult that can be. to look at yourself in the mirror and to still feel confident, to wear particular clothes and have to maybe get a bigger size than you want because otherwise your belly shows. That is one of the most difficult things that people go through. And this is your body that you wake up with every single day. And when you're eating foods like that and your children may be having similar food, it's heartbreaking and it's sad. So if you know how mentally challenging that can be, then I would plead everyone to again, fitness and health and fitness isn't a choice. It's not something that only the fit people do. And you know, I'm a working guy or I'm a working woman. That's not my lifestyle. It's something that's important for everyone. I'm not telling everyone to go and be a Ronaldo and a Usain Bolt and be an athlete or a Serena Williams. I'm just saying simple things. And that's what I teach people, how to integrate health and fitness into their current life as a corporate professional usually.
And if we're in that topic of, the benefits and how it like impacts your mental resilience, like what advice would you give to someone who feels stuck mentally and physically, but wants to make a change?
So if you feel stuck mentally and physically, then I would say either you have two options. You can either try and do this yourself. And quite frankly, I mean, I for the first 7 years of my training, I did by myself. I didn't have a coach. I didn't have a PT. So you're fully capable of doing it yourself. If you struggle to do that, then and you don't feel like you can do it, then I'd say invest in someone to help you, whether that be a therapist, whether that be a coach, whether that be a personal trainer that's in person. Take a step and invest in yourself, because that can be transformative. I'm a huge believer of coaching. Not only just because I'm a coach, but I invest a fortune into a coach every single year, because I just see it as such a benefit to my life. And for me, it's a cheat code. If I know someone who's figured out what I want to figure out, then I just invest in them, whether they're a coach or not. I'd offer them what I can and ask for help because I can get there faster because they've gone through what I want to go through. So if someone's really stuck and they don't know where to look, then I would say reach out to someone that you resonate with. And if you want to do it yourself, then I would personally take the approach of writing down my goals. So I'm super clear on exactly what I want out of life. Because otherwise, if you're chasing after something and you don't know where you're running to, then you're just going to run into a circle or run into a wall. You need to have a direction. So write down every single goal that you have. Make sure it's as clear as possible. If you were to look at my goals list, you'd think I'm some form of deranged psychopath because it's so detailed. It's so clear. The vision's almost perfect. I can describe what I want out of life better than I can describe the things I think I see in front of you. That's how clear it is. So write down your exact goals and then realize that right now you're not the person to basically get there. You're just not that clarity yet. That's why you're not there. So then you have to go through a process of redefining yourself. So now you have to write down the type of person that it would take, another version of you, a better version of you, a 2.0 version of you to get there. Once you have the goal and you have the type of person that you need to be to get there, now it's a matter of becoming. And rather than seeking and acquiring, you get into a state of being and becoming, because everything you ever want is within. It's you looking outside is going to just get you into a chasing state for the rest of your life. So if you're stuck, then there needs to be some massive change, and it's only you can do that for yourself.
Yeah, and it's the process, as you mentioned, yeah, because, first we need to know our goals. We need to be clear where we want to go. Then we need to know who we want to become to like create that life we want to have. And then we need to create like a strategy, how. So the process basically of how we are going to get there. And probably it will like during the way, it will, change like the steps. But
100%.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
100%. My even my goals change every now and then. I'll think it's clear, but then I'll learn something, I'll experience something else. Now I have to make some changes and updates. Maybe I realize this thing that I wanted wasn't that important to me in the first place. So you have to pivot. And it's the same thing for the becoming stage when you're writing down the type of person that you need to be. Sometimes, again, you have something or you learn something about yourself that you didn't know before. So you can add to this list of things that you feel like you need to basically get to your goal. So it's something that will forever change. And it's important to recognize that too, because getting things perfect before taking action is not going to benefit you. Just write down a list. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect. Just write down the list and move forward. taking a step forward and taking another step is the way for progress.
Yeah, yeah, that's very interesting. How this kind of. I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy goal setting because you need to actually like sit down and think like, what do you want to achieve? Yeah, which sometimes can be also like overwhelming because there's like so many choices in the world. But yeah, at some point you need to decide and try to become that person and have that life. And when we are like moving a little bit to this corporate and like demanding career space, because it can be hectic. So we mentioned a lot about the practical ways that professionals can integrate fitness into their daily routine. But yeah, do you have like any ideas for like, small things that potentially a very busy, very um, stressed professional can integrate into the day to day?
Yeah, when I've got thousands. I've got a PDF actually, full of these. But I mentioned a couple because I'm all about convenience, and I'm no different to everyone else. Everyone has to remember that. I mean, I enjoy working out. Yes, that maybe is a slight advantage. Some people really just hate it. But besides that, I'm no different to anyone else. I like things that are easier, and sometimes, for example, I think about integrating things into my life. So it's very small hacks like if you want to go to the gym in the morning, for example, which I'm not a big fan of, but for a lot of people, that's their only option. So if you want to go to the gym in the morning, prepare the night before. And it's just simple things. Get a bottle of water, put it on the side, get your banana, for example, if that's what you want to have pre-workout, get your clothes ready by the side. So you've already prepared. So that it's one less thing to do in the morning. So you're making things really easy for yourself. When it comes to your food, stop thinking about these complicated, crazy meals. If you know you're not going to do something, or you know it's a big, massive shift when you've got other priorities, you've got people to manage, stop focusing on these things. Focus on 2 to 3, potentially 4 meals that are nutritious, that are good, and you can just rotate between and eat those. Anything else, just forget about. So make things as easy and as simple as humanly possible. I would avoid drinking your calories. For the most part, you should just be drinking black coffee and water, and try and minimize any form of alcohol intake or anything like that, and just keep things as simple as possible. A huge thing for me is just I try not to overcomplicate anything in life. Anything. I try to make everything super simple, and I try to make everything easy. So just think about how you can integrate things into your life. So in order to get steps in, if you're working from home, it is super tough. I work from home most of the time. So rather than going for purposeful walks, because quite frankly, I don't want to be going for random walks in the evening when I'd rather be at home. It's just it's like why am I going for just random walks? There's no purpose behind it. So as someone who loves to work, then I try to make these walks productive. So quite often my clients will get a voice note or a video from me walking. I'm going on a walk, but I'm still getting some work done. Or or maybe I'll call a family member from back home. And again, it's a bit more of a productive walk. So the reason behind the walk, I could be doing it at home, but now I'm walking around and getting some movement into my day. So I say try to integrate as much as humanly possible. Walking desk work for some people. Standing desk, I would recommend for most people. It's just so you're active and you're moving, but you're not adding something to your day, and you don't want to add hours of a routine into your already hectic life. It's just going to be impossible, and you won't be able to maintain it. So just strive for things that you can maintain, and there's just simple little hacks that can just change everything for you, and over time, it will work.
Yeah, that's that's very simple. Yeah, what you mentioned, just move more, go for example, with me, like I also had this problem with like walking at first. So I was like, for example, forgetting to buy a bread. So next day I have to wake up in the morning and go to buy, bread or like salad or whatever. Like I was just, cheating on myself that, oh, I don't have something at home, which, for example, I like eating for breakfast. So now I need to go out and buy it. And, on the way to the shop, I was just, changing the routes to like make a circle. And then, yeah.
Yeah, one of my rules to life: always take the scenic route, and that sometimes is the longer route. But one, it will help you enjoy life a lot more, and two, it's likely going to be the longer trip, and you get to reflect, you get to walk around. It's one of my favorite rules. Just take the scenic route at every single point possible in life, and when you're walking, obviously that can allow for some more steps. So it's all about just integration, making things easier for yourself. When you go to the gym, don't do any crazy exercises. You're probably just going to risk your health. Just use the machines. Machines are completely fine. I use machines a lot. It's completely fine. So again, just integrate things and make it seamlessly and easy. And this is what I do for my clients. I essentially look at what their life looks like. Let's just say they only have time for 3 workouts a week, 4 workouts a week. They order most of their food, or they only have a limited amount of time to cook. Then I have to create something that's really bespoke for that type of person and make sure that it's something that they can just do, as opposed to, wow, now I've got this whole entire crazy routine. I've got to do CrossFit. I've got to do this crazy sweaty workouts, and no one really wants to do that. I didn't want to do that. So again, it's something that you're just not going to be able to add on to your day. Most people they come to me like, I've tried keto, I've tried low carb diets, I've tried this particular diet of removing this one thing, and they're just expecting some rapid fat loss. And most people, the reason that they're failing is they're looking for something like a secret, some thing that's going to just enable them to just lose weight like that. I was speaking to a good friend yesterday for dinner, and her father is using some electronic. I'm not even sure what the name's called, but I've had a few people come to me and mention this electronic machine that's meant to kind of help them vibrate or something like that and gain abs. Again, if it sounds if for anyone who's listening, if it sounds too good to be true, it most likely is. Avoid fat burner pills. These things are just unhealthy ways. And again, what do you want? Is it just a body, or do you want to have and be the person to live a fit, healthy life, to inspire others? And the best thing about going through a transformation is the ripple effect you have on everyone around you. If you're eating good foods, you're looking after yourself, you're feeling better, you have this vibration where you feel amazing, other people around you are just going to want to improve themselves. So the best thing about it is the results that I get, and like, oh, actually, now my whole family's eating better. I'm going on walks with my kids and spending more time with them. I have energy to spend, date nights with my wife now. Those are the most impressive things for me, because it's the ripple effect, and I feel like it comes from me, so I feel great.
Yeah, that's interesting. So sometimes, because sometimes I think people are thinking that, oh, I'm going to be selfish if I'm going to like spend time on the gym, on like walking or something like that. But the moment you start exercising and like taking care of your well-being and like your mental, physical health, you are better for others. Yeah, you are better mother, better father, better partner. Yeah, just a better human being.
Love is a verb. It's a doing word, which means you have to actually do things to prove your love and to show your love. So again, one of the great things I've learned over time is love is a verb, and it's more loving, in my opinion, to look after yourself, to feel fit, to feel healthy, to eat healthy foods, and then give that person to your loved ones, because that's a better version of you. So I'd turn it around and say it's more selfish to eat bad foods, make everyone else around you eat bad foods. Now you're stressed, you're low energy, you're burning out, you're gaining weight, and is that the type of energy you want to give to your family and the people around you?
I think the answer is obvious. Yeah. The answer
Exactly.
is obvious.
It's not an option. It's something that you're going to have to figure out, whether you want to put it off for 10 years or you want to take action and essentially take the first step. That's your call. But the whether health and fitness can benefit your life and whether it can provide you some mental ease in your life is undeniable. You may not have found it for yourself yet, and that's understandable. But when you do find it and you have figured it out, or you get someone to help you figure it out, it's undeniable. It will help you and it will make you feel better. And that's why I do what I do, because I love helping people find out for themselves, find their own rhythm. I describe coaching as, I don't want to be in the driver's seat, because this is kind of the problem with in-person personal trainers sometimes, is you're very dependent on that person basically being there. And if that personal trainer doesn't show up, which they don't half the time, then you just don't train. And then they don't even look after your nutrition either. Not to throw too much shade on my PT friends, but it's just the truth. However, when you get into a routine and you're going to the gym, and like I said, I describe online coaching as, you're in the driver's seat, I'm in the driving instructor seat. I've still got a wheel, I've still got a pedal. So if you're going down the wrong path, I can make sure I steer you on the right path. If you're going too fast, I can slow you down. If you're not going fast enough, I can speed you up. And I can make sure you're not going the really long route or going off a cliff. I'm making sure you're going in the right path. But the most important thing is I still want you to be in the driver's seat, so you're not dependent on me. And eventually, when we stop working together, which will happen one day, you can keep this skill you've got now for life, and this new passion and for health and fitness, you've got this for life now. And that means I've done my job correctly.
I love the metaphor. I really love it. And I'm thinking like, because right now you're like running your business, staying fit, and maintaining your sanity, as you mentioned before. So, how do you manage the balance between all those?
So funny enough, when I actually started the business, I'm a huge hypocrite here. I told myself this story, and we all tell ourselves stories to just make ourselves feel better. So I told myself this story that, you know what, I've been in the gym for a long time. I'm already fit. I'm already healthy. I don't really need to train that much anymore. I do like 2 to 3 times a week, just maintain my body and just dedicate everything to my work and my clients, because that's how I'm going to give the best service. I did that for a few months, and there was something that just wasn't aligned when I was speaking with people. And for example, when you speak to any form of person who's achieved some success in any area, the way that the reason it resonates with you so much, the reason you can feel their words even more, because words in and of itself don't really mean much. It's how the person's saying it. It's because they've walked the path themselves. And when I'm not walking that path myself, then my words didn't feel as impactful. So I was barely going to the gym. I was kind of just a bit flippant with my nutrition, and that affected my performance a lot. So I found I found balance by actually working out more. Obviously, I'm a fitness coach, so now I've got a bit more time on my hands to do so than most people. But I guess it's more beneficial for most people to understand how I found a balance before, when I was in the corporate world and I had a job and I was working 60 hours a week plus, and had a social life, had either a girlfriend or I was dating or whatever the case may be in my past. The way I find balance then is just, most importantly, just understanding why I'm doing it in the first place. Prioritizing my health and fitness, which is, in other words, just prioritizing me and putting myself first sometimes. So if someone wanted to go out and drink, or if someone wanted to, go and have some burgers, and sometimes I'd be like, no, I've got to work out, or I've got to work out, I'll come after. It takes an hour to work out. I can shower at the gym. Pretty much all gyms have showers. I can just meet you in an hour's time. It's fine. So what, I've lost an hour, and I can always cut into an evening time if I need to. So I found the balance by really just taking my first step, and just finding a routine that I enjoyed, that worked for me. There's little hacks I found nutrition wise to help me stay pretty lean, kind of single digit body fats for most of my last 11, 12 years, and still live a normal life, kind of eat a bit flexibly. So I found what works for me, and everyone's a little bit different from their body types to, what access they have to food, what foods they enjoy. So again, this is why you can't just go and expect to download some app off the internet from your favorite influencer and get amazing results, because you're different. You are an individual person. So to expect to do the exact same thing as everyone else and get results it just might not work for you, and because it's not realistic.
Yeah, that's kind of very, again, to like, it turns out to be like very simple, to like knowing your why and like prioritizing yourself and like making this first, take care of yourself, then you are able to take care of others. And spend time with them, because once you are like stressed and like start putting others like above yourself, let's say, above your
Yeah.
needs, I think you're also like angry with them and like have this vibe of, oh my God, I came here, I sacrificed my goals, and what's there? Yeah. So that's very
Yeah.
important to like.
Yeah, and I just want to say, because I know I do make things sound very simple, and for someone who's like, oh, I struggle with this, I struggle with this mental challenge. It's not that easy. I've tried losing weight before, and I've tried it. Most people have tried a number of different things. Most people who come to me have tried many times to lose weight before. It's not their first rodeo, and for me to sit here and say it's easy and it's simple, I know how it must sound. So there's a few things that I'll say. One, the reason I say it's easy is because I'm really particular with my words. Saying things are hard and saying things are difficult is a self-limiting language, because I'm saying for myself that this is a difficult thing to achieve. And I'm really careful on what I say when it comes to myself specifically, on how I limit myself with my own words. Because if I'm already telling myself this thing I'm trying to achieve is hard, then I'm already in my own way. And quite frankly, there's going to be enough things in my way to disrupt me from my goal, whether it be losing weight, whether it be growing a business. Life will challenge me in and of itself. So I try not to challenge myself too and get in my own way too. So I'm part of the fight against me. I don't want to be part of the fight against me. I want to be part of the fight with me to achieve the goal in the first place. So I'm saying it's easy not only to simplify it for you, but also to keep it in my head that these are things that are very achievable for me. What most people achieve with just a self belief that they can get to a specific body weight or a specific body fat percentage. So self belief is really important in the first place, because if you truly believe you can get there and this is something that you can get, then it's a lot easier to strive for it and go for it, and maybe sometimes make those small subtle sacrifices to get there, because you know that you will get to that goal. So I'm saying it's easy not because technically it is. I know the mental barriers that it can take. For example, even to start my business and take that leap of faith at a young age to achieve what I have so far, I could say it's easy, yes, and I would try to train my brain to think so, but I would definitely went through a lot of challenges, a lot of self-doubt, a lot of worry, stress, pain. There were times where I was having nightmares because of the amount of stress that I was going through in terms of to keep things up and running and the long hours I was working. So I would look back and still say it's easy to some degree. I recognize the fact that I've worked hard, but I still want to make it seem very achievable for me so I can strive for more. So I just wanted to add that small fact, because I know how it can sound sometimes to someone who's kept trying and hasn't got there before. So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for clarifying that. That's very important. And yeah. Generally, like the balance and prioritizing ourselves is crucial. Um, and if we want to summarize our conversation, and if you could leave our listeners with just one crucial piece of advice from everything we discussed today, what would it be?
I was thinking about this question a lot, and it's hard to give someone one piece of advice that I haven't maybe said so far in this call. Um, I'd say, because this is what's been the most impactful thing for me, is really understanding, not just understanding, but feeling why you want to achieve something. So if I ask 100 people on the street, do you want to lose fat, for example, or just get into better shape overall? Most people are going to say yes. But there's a reason why 90% of them aren't taking any current action to actually get there. And it's because they say that they want something and they can understand maybe why they want it, but they don't feel it. It's not painful enough for them yet. So rather than trying to kid yourself or tell yourself this story of, I feel okay, I'm a confident person anyway, I don't need to do this, have a higher standard for yourself, strive for more, tell yourself the story of, I am a hardworking person. I am someone who has high standards for themselves. And I know that this is something that really deep down, if I was to dig into it and stop ignoring this discomfort I feel, I know I can do better. And I would take the first step and just start with the food. The food is going to be more transformative than any type of working out you can do. Start with the food. You can technically out diet a bad training plan. It's very difficult to out train a bad diet. Start with the nutrition and start looking at eating healthier and maybe just look at your fridge now if there's just loads of snacks and not good things in there, throw it out. Keep good food in your house. And if you want to go and eat some foods that are unhealthy for you, fine, just leave it outside of the house. The house is for healthy food. If you want something, make it really convenient for you. If you don't want something, make it whatever the opposite word for convenience is. Make it as difficult as possible to get to. And that's why in the house, I just overall don't keep bad food in the house. And I have burgers every now and then. I have foods that aren't the greatest, but I just have to go out to go and get them. So when it's just easy to go and get some snacks, I don't have anything that's bad in my house, which saves me probably at least 8 out of 10 times of the times that I want to have something unhealthy. I just don't, because it's just not around me. So fine, I have the foods that's a bit healthy for me instead. So eating disorders are very difficult, and again, depending on the struggle would depend on my advice. But in general, we're all emotional eaters. Something everyone has to accept. I'm an emotional eater. You're an emotional eater. Everyone's an emotional eater. The sooner you accept that, the easier it is to pick the foods that are beneficial for you. And again, is sometimes you just have to reframe certain things. For example, most people don't eat super clean until they're ill. And when you're ill, you want to feel better. And when your health's in jeopardy, your main thing is, I'll do anything to make myself feel better. So I'm going to eat super clean. I'm going to have oranges. I'm going to make this nice ginger tea, and ginger and lemon tea. I want to eat really good things. But why are you waiting until your health is in jeopardy to feel good? If you know that it makes you feel better, then eat these things anyway, and then you'll feel better when you're already feeling good. Don't wait till you feel bad. This is like a mindset reframe that most people need to go through. We're accepting that good food makes us feel better. Then why are we only having it when we don't feel good? We should be having it when we feel good and when we don't feel good.
Yeah, yeah, that's very important. And this mental shift, it's challenging. Yeah, it's a lot of work, and like self reflection until you like reach the point where you're like able to be who you want to be, basically. And if we're talking about also like exciting things and your future plans, what are you most excited about in your upcoming projects or personal journey?
Yeah, so I've got a few podcasts coming up on my own. I'll be inviting a few of my clients who've had some extreme transformations when it comes to their lifestyle, who are corporate professionals, who have now found a love for fitness, transformed their bodies, transformed their lives. So I'll be doing a few of those now. I'm back in Dubai. Besides that, I do what I love. I'm very blessed and fortunate to be in a career and have grown something now to something that impacts many others, but also, I get the benefit too of just doing what I love every single day and impacting people with what really troubles them the most, which is the way they look and the way they feel. My only really goal every day is to just keep doing what I'm doing and to do it at a larger scale so I can impact more people. So besides just subtle things within my business that I look to continuously optimize and improve and stay obsessed with my mission. I don't do too much else, to be honest. I'm fairly boring in that sense, apart from just going to coffee shops and getting some more work done. That's all I really like to do. So I don't have anything too grandiose or crazy. Even traveling, I'm doing a lot less of from now. I usually like to work in different locations and exercise my newfound freedom. But even that, I'm toning down a little bit, just so even a couple of days traveling and being tired whilst traveling can stop me from growing from a business perspective. So I'd rather just focus on growth for now. So yeah, that's really it. And then it's having lovely conversations with people like yourself, which I like to make time for as well. So to hopefully look out for some more of those whenever I get invited to do these sort of podcasts.
Yeah, yeah, it's like simplicity and focus. I would summarize it, and it's perfect. It's beautiful, really. And for listeners who want to connect with you or learn more, where they can find you online.
Yeah, so my LinkedIn and Instagram are my two main platforms. So either Asher Kennedy, so Asher Asher Kennedy on LinkedIn, and Instagram Asher the Coach. Reach out to me, to shoot me a DM saying, "Hey, saw your podcast. Interested to connect and find out a little bit more about what you do." We can have a conversation, see if it's something that could be a good fit for you in terms of coaching, or just to have a conversation. And if it sounds like a good fit, we can jump on the call and see where it goes. And hopefully I can be of service if it is a good fit for you.
I'll add the links to your Instagram and to your LinkedIn to the podcast description. And thank you so much for our conversation, Asher. And yeah, your journey is inspiring. Yeah, maybe it will, push some people to take care of their fitness, of their health, of their. Maybe they will like make a career transition. Who knows how this podcast will impact them? So thank you.
Yeah, funny enough, actually, sorry to add some more, but since my jump of leaving my corporate job for coaching, I've had a lot of people reaching out to me, mostly over LinkedIn, who have wanted to do similar things or wanted to take their leap of faith. And I've convinced a number of people since actually to take that leap of faith and quit their jobs. So I used to be a guy helping people find jobs, and now I'm making people lose them and quit them to find their career. Because again, we get one life. We don't get to do this beautiful thing called life. We don't get to do it twice. We get one time to do this. And me personally, if I'm going to do it once, I want to do it doing something I enjoy and that I can impact people with. And two, I want to do it fit and healthy for as long as humanly possible. As long as that is in my control anyway. So we get to do it once, take it seriously. It's not all about drinking and boozing and eating unhealthy foods. There's an element of life as an adult. You have to take life seriously, and again, if it's not now, then when?
Yeah, and that's a nice, I think, ending of our conversation. So thank you, Asher, for this last lesson and key piece of advice also. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's an honor. I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Thanks for joining me on another episode of Doing It My Way by Beata Matras. If you enjoyed this episode, please do not forget to subscribe. Remember, this podcast is a dynamic journey and your feedback is very welcomed. Connect with me on social media. I would like to hear your thoughts, questions, and topic suggestions. And stay tuned for upcoming episodes. And until next time, keep doing it your way.